Hello friends and enemies, welcome to or back to Happy For Now. It's me Isabel here with your newest e-reader review. So if you're new here or you aren't familiar, I've done some reviews before where I talked about various e-reading devices that I own, and now I'm up to 4 different e-readers. Caveat here, 1, no one needs to own this many. I truly feel like 1 to 2 is all you really need, depending on what you're reading. So I have, of course, done my notorious Oasis review in which everyone gets mad at me because their Oasis is fine, but mine and multiple people's I know is not great. But got that here. I've done the Paperwhite versus the Oasis and why I basically rarely use this, even though screen's beautiful. Battery on mine, terrible. We'll leave that to the side. And then of course I have the ever classic Paperwhite. This in particular is the signature with the wireless charging. This is an unnecessary addition. Works well for my ADHD brain because I plug my Kindle in and I see it, so I don't lose it. And then of course I have a Kindle Fire tablet that is jailbroken. I have a Fire tablet, which is just my other one. This is my second to most recent e-reader edition. I got this really cheap on a Prime Day. And then I have the BigMe color e-ink reader. This is a 7-inch screen. I did a little mini review of this in a vlog and I've now had it for a hot minute, so I feel equipped to discuss it. I have a couple qualms with it. I think there's a different reason for each of these for each type of person, is what I will say. So yeah, let's talk about if you should or shouldn't get an Android-based e-reader versus a Amazon, or you could also do a Kobo, basically like a proprietary software e-reader, like which one is right for you. So before we dive into the reviews and me comparing these and talking about it, one thing to note, I'm coming at this as a reader, not as a tech person necessarily. That doesn't mean I don't know anything about tech, it's just not how I approach reviewing devices like this. I'm reviewing these as someone who reads lately in the past few years over 300 books, and in part that is due to technology like e-readers, because I do have migraines and they allow me to read even when I'm having a migraine, and also take advantage of a lot of different situations in life because I can pick my book up no matter what. So first up, I'm going to show you some comparisons of all 3 devices in direct sunlight, because I think that's important going into this to know how these react in direct sunlight. So I took these out in the afternoon at like 2:30, 3 o'clock, so the sun was pretty high in the sky. It was slightly overcast today, but not that overcast. And you can see here that, of course, all of the paper-like e-readers performed wonderfully in the sun for the most part. I would say the Kindle Fire is not great for direct sunlight. That's not really what it's made for. Like any other tablet, it's just not going to be the best quality for direct sun. But the Kindles, both Oasis and Paperwhite, in dark or light mode, were great in the sun. I also will say the BigMe, to me, that e-ink screen did better than the Fire tablet and is very readable in the sun, but I probably would spend a lot more time fidgeting with the settings for daylight and like direct sun than I did here. I just kind of gave you the default direct sun view of it so you could see what it looks like, but it does have a much more customizable sun like screen settings. All right, first up, before I start the review, I would say the first thing, I do think price point wise, obviously the BigMe and the Oasis are the closest. Battery life wise for my device, the BigMe e-ink color screen actually lasts a lot longer than my Kindle Oasis does. Again, I've tested this compared to my Paperwhite. Whatever Oasis I got is a dud. There's nothing Amazon will do about that at this point. You can't buy a charging case for it. I'm also not the only person I know with a dud. And every time I talk about this being a dud, somebody comes to the comments and tells me how much they love their Oasis and it's the best thing ever, blah, blah, blah. I'm happy for you. I'm pissed that mine's a dud. You should not spend this much money on a device and have it be a dud. Like, that's not okay. Do you know what I'm saying? Also, this device is basically discontinued. It's no longer available in the States, so I'm expecting this to just kind of slowly vanish from the world here. So there's that. So the BigMe, I would say, is pretty comparable in size. I do have some videos I will insert here comparing the Kindle sizes to each other so you can kind of see them together. Now, the biggest thing with the BigMe is it has an Android interface, okay? So you can literally put any app you want on here that is on the Android Google Play Store. So that's nice. This also has a speaker in it, so you can listen to your audiobooks. Here, I'll show you a sample of that happening. Speaker quality is fine. I'm not looking for like a fantastic speaker out of this though. The things I like about the BigMe device, it has a lot of things in it. There's like a ChatGPT thing, an AI assistant. I have no desire for any of those things. I could care less. I enjoy the little pin, but caveat. I find that the pen sleeve is too loose, and I have now replaced the pen nub on this. So because that sleeve is loose, this nub has bent on me because it falls out when I'm using the device. And now I'm on my last pen nub replacement. So there's that. I do think this is a great device. There's very specific uses. One, there's some good uses for it. I think this is fantastic to read manga on. I love reading my manga on this. I love being able to use other book apps on this, such as Kobo. So like I can get a Kobo Plus account and read on this to read from Kobo Plus. I think that's fantastic. I think the ability to be outside of just the Amazon interface here, fantastic. And I love that about it. So you can uninstall apps. So that's nice. You know, it has a user guide on it already. It has like Microsoft OneNote, which I'm not going to use on this. Like I have no desire to use this like a tablet. Even though it has the writing capabilities and you can highlight and take notes with the pen, I just don't find that enjoyable. If I want to highlight and take notes in a book or like annotate it, I'm either going to have a notebook next to me or I'm going to have a physical copy. But I do like, again, that you can really remove things from here and customize it. The e-ink is not too terrible, honestly. Like, I think people need to understand as well with the color e-ink here, it's not going to be like the crispiest color thing. You know, it's not going to be like a tablet in color quality here. This is e-ink, so it is easier on your eyes, and I do like that about it. I love how customizable it is because I can really just like, you know, set it to different things. Like that's very nice. You can split screen it, so I do like that. Technically, you could play a video on it. Again, the quality is not going to be as good as it would be on other things, but I like that. I like the page turn buttons on this one as well. I know a lot of people don't want to give up those buttons to turn the page, and I understand that, and I don't disagree with you. Like, I use other ways to make my Kindle reading experience hands-free and or like have buttons to push to turn the page. Like I have pillows and stuff for that, and the attachments. The things, like the biggest things to note with a device like this, I think, is going to be one, the battery life. This is not going to have the same battery life as a Kindle or a Kobo or a very like all-in-one device. So like my Oasis, you would need to live with this kind of with the Wi-Fi off if you want to have an extended battery life. But to me, the entire point of a Kindle is like leaving it on and just being able to send my new books there quickly and not, you know, have to worry about, is the Wi-Fi on? Did I get my book before I left the house or not? Do I have to hotspot it to my phone or to the internet where I'm going? That for me is a big thing. But I also am someone who is getting new books almost daily or every couple days, early review copies often, and different things like that, where I'm sending those to my Kindle and I want them on my Kindle before I leave my house. But I think the BigMe is a great alternative for someone who is open to the Android OS as the background software for this. Slightly lower battery life, but not terrible. Wants to play with the stylus, but isn't like too upset if, you know, you have to replace nibs on it a bunch because it drops out of the case or that, because that is definitely my one rest about that. And the fact that like there's not, I don't think there's any clear cases for this or anything like that. You know, there's no strapsicles, there's none of those accessories. This will do a lot of the other stuff that your Kindle does anyways, give you access to some other reading formats, also access to books that maybe don't have a Kindle copy and you want to read in the Libby app. So this can be a great option. If you are someone who is watching this video and like, well, do I get this or a paperweight? Portability and accessory wise, I think there's more available to you with a paperweight. They are honestly, I have a comparison of all four of them in the stack. They're not really that different in size, all of these, to me. I don't think size should play too big a factor, and I think screen-wise, they are it's about the same screen size. This might be slightly smaller, but again, I don't think it plays too big a factor. So I think the biggest thing with something like this, the Android-based, like the BigMe here, is do you want or need access to non-Amazon or whatever services e-reader stuff? If the answer is yes, something like this might be a great option for you. If the answer is no, and you're in the States, I think the Kindle Paperweight may be a good option. The Kobo is a great option if you're in Canada, I know, and also as an alternative to Amazon. I'm someone who's rotating through all of my devices, besides my Oasis. I don't use it a ton, but I rotate through most of my e-reading devices. So for me, having these is nice because sometimes I want to turn the Wi-Fi off on one so I can use the other, or I want to read manga but I don't want to use my phone for digital manga or my tablet, which is why I have the Fire tablet. The BigMe has been a great option to pick up for those situations. But yeah, I like it and I think it's really cool. I'm really curious to see where we are with e-ink development as far as colors go and stuff. Another year or two, we are supposedly on the horizon of getting a color e-ink Kindle next year in 2025. So we'll see if that happens or not. I probably will review it if it does. I think that, you know, we have a lot of options outside of Amazon now. I would be curious to maybe potentially eventually try a Books Palma, but also again for the price, I'm not investing in that because I was gifted, I will say that, I was gifted the BigMe e-reader, which was great, and that's part of why I tested it. And like I said, I like it, but there's some things about it I just don't like as much as I like the built-in interface. And I think you just gotta evaluate what kind of reader you are and if you want an all-in-one device. Also, another thing to note with either of these is debating the fact of, do you want access to other things while you read? Because if you do, an Android-based device like the BigMe is perfect for that, right? Like if you want to be able to go on AO3 easily, which you can go on AO3 on your Kindle, but say you want to be able to access AO3 or a website or things like that more easily, I think the BigMe is a great option. I really enjoy the lack of distraction on my Kindle personally. Being able to open my device and get straight to reading and have nothing else to like distract my brain is part of also why I'm a Kindle reader. Whereas like on my phone and stuff, I will go open other apps. I'm not gonna sit and read on my Kindle. But yeah, that is my feelings on the Android-based versus Kindle. I would love to know your thoughts in the comments. Like, do you have an Android-based e-reader? Have you tried a Books or a BigMe, or I don't know if there's any other brands. Those are the only two I know of. Are you holding out for the color Kindle in 2025? Do you just have Paperwhite? Like what devices are you using? Because I'm always like kind of curious to see how people are reading. I know a lot of people read on their phones still, and I don't know how. My migraine brain could never, because that would just give me migraines constantly. But I would love to know about it in the comments. If there's another e-reader device you want me to check out, let me know down below as well. I'm happy to eventually maybe pick one up. We'll see. I don't know that it would be a Scribe or something like that. I just don't know that I can like convince myself to fork out $300+ on an e-reader. If y'all really want me to try something, I will though. But yeah, those are my thoughts on this. Let me know if you don't want to do any of that. You can leave me a book emoji of your choice down below. Why not? But yeah, you can do that down below. I will be back in just a few days with my next video, and I will talk to y'all soon. Bye.
Already packing, come with me. I'm not really asking. We'll get away to a place where we don't know. About to see the world in action, what we can be. Life with no distractions. We'll get away. This is what we